Hi there, Neil Clark here from Falkirk Piping and Glenbervie Folk Duo, www.falkirkpiping.com. Something just a little bit different for you today. It's a bit of a taste of things to come, mainly in May. We have two events in May, the 17th and the 25th of May, when we will be walking, me and Mr. Doug down here, we'll be walking and piping. Not piping the whole way, but walking and piping the full length of the Union Canal and a little bit more actually from Maggie's centre in Edinburgh, 5 miles on to the Union Canal, and then round about 33 from along the Union Canal to the Seagull Trust Cruises in Falkirk, and eventually off and onto Maggie's Forth Valley. And in doing so, we hope to raise funds for both Maggie's Forth Valley and the Seagull Trust Cruises in Falkirk. Today we're on National Cycle Network 75, 76, I can actually see a sign coming on. And it's also the Fife Coastal Path between Culross and Kincardine. Just show you this wee sign here, so you know I'm actually where I say there you are, up there. Just behind my left ear. So onwards. Started in Culross about 20 minutes ago. Going to Kincardine. We might cross over the Kincardine Bridge. If we do, I'll give you some more footage for there. So have a look at the Facebook events below if you've got Facebook. 17th of May and 25th of May along the Union Canal. And I'll speak to you again soon. It's not very coastal just now, is it? But fantastic path. Part funded by the European Union, so we're going to have to find some other way of funding our paths in the near future. Maybe not, we might be back. So I'll see you again in a wee while. I'm just giving you more of a view of the Longannet Power Station, and behind it there you can also see and possibly even hear the petrochemical industry in Grangemouth. Years ago, and now I still think of it as BP, but British Petroleum, but it's several different owners in there now, a lot of them I think from China. What was quite interesting is recently a newspaper, probably a Facebook page actually, because I don't read the newspapers. There's even less accuracy on newspapers than there is on Facebook. Anyway, they published the top 10 polluters in Scotland, and 7 of them were in our area. And I used to think, see, there's somebody dinging now, that's great, isn't it? Away past, no bother at all. This path is just so good. Anyway, I used to think of the petrochemical industry in Grangemouth as one entity, but no, 6 of the 7 most polluters in Scotland were individual units over there in the BP, as we can't help calling it. So, and the other one was Caberboard near Cowie, which is about 5 miles to the north of us, so we're doing not very well here actually. I meant to tell you as well, yesterday we discovered that this guy, he gets off the lead when he's got a ball. Because I'm just a little bit concerned about other people's safety, not so much his safety. If he sees something that he's going to chase, cats are the favourite. Squirrels generally just stops at the bottom of the tree and barks up the tree, but you don't know, do you? So he doesn't get off the lead unless I think it's absolutely safe for him and everyone else, and that's generally when we've got a ball. So yesterday we overdid it, and I was a little bit worried about him. And what I found was that collies do not chase balls until they get tired. Collies apparently chase the ball until they collapse. That is to say, they lie down and they can't move. Luckily we weren't too far from the car, but he's a most obliging chap, and he actually does pretty much whatever he thinks I want him to do. So that's one to bear in mind for the future. Don't think that your collie has endless supplies of energy, because they're like everyone else and they do have a limit. So I've sort of learned that he's not going to go at 200 miles per hour all day without being knackered at some point. So he's fine today though, quite happy, not pulling in the lead, which would indicate that he's maybe actually just a wee bit tired after yesterday as well. So still on the National Cycle Network, 76. I've got to say, I think it's great. This is a Saturday, it's a fantastic weather, and it's not really been busy at all. I don't see it being all that much busier in the summer, so it's great weather. Practically got the footpath to myself mostly. The dog's on a long lead, I hardly ever have to bring him in. Scotland's great, eh? And I suppose, strictly speaking, if I'm going to be training for doing the Union Canal towpath in the main in May, then I should be on the Union Canal towpath. But I think that would be a bit boring, and I want you to see a wee bit more of the locality anyway. I'll give you a wee blast of this. We're not too far off Kincardine. That's the Kincardine Bridge you can see there. And we'll try and do a bit of footage from it, but the problem is it's probably going to be a bit noisy up there. In the distance there, between the last two pylons, I hope you can see, that's Ben Ledy, and we hope to see more of that this year. I want to be playing pipes up there at some point. I'm going to keep the reason secret just now, but we should be up there on a good day, hopefully, maybe even something like today. You're maybe thinking, don't the pylons spoil the view? Well, yes and no, but what you're looking at, these pylons here move between Longannet Power Station and what was Kincardine Power Station, and both power stations are now closed. Kincardine Power Station is completely flattened, and Longannet is in the process of being flattened, and that was the employment for the majority of the people in Kincardine for years and years and years. So just a reminder that things move on. I think Kincardine seems to be doing okay. Place with a very, very strong sense of identity. I'm just going to pass comment on this path. We're nearly at the start. We're doing this the wrong way actually. The Fife Coastal Path, which goes all the way to, right round the Fife Coast, funnily enough, to Newborough, I think, starts in Kincardine. And it's not really like the West Island Way, where loads of people do it backwards. Actually, loads of people don't do it at all, which is why you haven't seen anyone, hardly. But it starts in Kincardine and finishes just north of St Andrews. And we've pretty much done it the wrong way. But my point is, isn't this great? Look at it, it's tarmac. And someone here, I know I've already said that it was made partly with European funding, but isn't this so much better than painting white lines on the edge of an already existing road 6 inches or so out for the pavement and putting a sign up saying cycleway? This is 10 times better. These wee cycleways, that's where all the crap gathers. But this is just really a joy. Anyway, mump over. It's not really a mump, is it? Because I'm saying this is great. See you on the bridge. I'll talk a wee bit louder here and hope that I get picked up okay. So Kincardine Bridge, once we get halfway over this is back into Falkirk District. We have left Fife. Out this way is the petrochemical industry again, and Norway, I suppose, eventually. There's a boy fishing down there on the pier. I used to go down there when I was a kid. Cycled over and I caught eels and flounders, which was not very exciting, but guy's set up down there, he looks like he knows what he's doing. So 1936, since replaced by this one over here, which you may be able to see just over the railings there. That's the Clackmannanshire Bridge, The jetty over there, that is where Kincardine Power Station was. Noisy here. The hills in the background, I talked about doing Ben Ledi soon. What you can see, the highest sort of roundy bit over there, that's Ben Clwch, and I hope to be going up there on Tuesday, possibly playing a tune up there as well, all as a warm-up for the walk really in May, because I want to be playing pipes as much as I possibly can, so I need to really build up my fitness to be able to do that. That's piping fitness and walking fitness. But this guy's going to love it, he should be with me. So, a little bit more about the charity thing, and a thanks to everyone, because you've all been absolutely fantastic. We have nearly £7,000 raised for Parkinson's UK, and I was a bit worried when we started doing Maggie's and the Seagull Trust Cruises. I thought, oh, it's going to take ages to kick off, but it hasn't. We've got nearly £300 already for the Seagull Trust Cruises, and 200 or so for Maggie's, and thanks to everyone for that, especially in the last few months or so. Thanks very much to the Sterling group from out in Bulgaria there, who have been particularly helpful in just getting things kick-started. So that's us about the middle of the bridge here. I used to, at the back of me there is Kincardine, and more importantly the Scottish Police College at Tillyallen. That's where I spent my last 5 years in the police, and I'll be honest with you, the probationer training side was okay, but the job I was promoted into, I have never been so bored in my life. And you're talking to a guy here who spent 6 years in the army, potentially 3 of them waiting for nothing to happen. I was really bored in that job, but I'm thankful for that job because it actually allowed me to start what was Great Glen Piping and is now Falkirk Piping, because I had plenty of time in my hands. So I'll give you a bit background here, and that's us now in. You can see the pontoon bridge behind me there. That's very dangerous now, no one goes down there, but that's pretty much the border between Fife and Falkirk. So we're now safely back in Falkirk. We weren't accosted by any Fifers, and Milo's quite happy. Before we get over to the other side, it's quite a convenient place to show you what I was talking about earlier with the flatlands around the fort. Now this is the other side, and we can see the mud flats much easier, but down here we can also see the nature of the landscape. I mean, that's floodplain, I suppose you would call it, for some distance inland, and what you're seeing there is pretty much in miniature as to what it was like several hundred years ago. So that these inlets would be much wider, much deeper, much muddier, and this is exactly what Bruce made use of in Bannockburn in 1314. And if you can imagine heavy cavalry trying to make their way across that stuff, you can begin to understand just how a vastly numerically inferior army managed to resoundingly beat them. That's great, isn't it? We beat them. There they go. So, due to my lack of knowledge of the wildfowl, I don't know whether they're arriving from the spring or they're going somewhere else. But just a little bit further than you're seeing just now is the Birkenna Bird Reserve or Nature Reserve. It's a site of special scientific interest, and it's absolutely hoaching with loads and loads of birds, and nobody's going to build on it, so they say, although this is Falkirk District and Central Scotland, and we've got a lot of houses going up all the time, much to our annoyance. Great though, eh? We can be as industrial as we like, and these guys will still do this. This guy still wants to chase them. I had a thought just strike me there. We're nearly at the Pine and Oak lay-by, which is where I'm supposed to be picked up. As a matter of fact, that's the missus just passed me. Now don't tell her this, but I forgot. The Pine and Oak lay-by is known as a haunt for people known as doggers. Now, I don't know much about such activities, and I suspect that most of them sort of happen when it's dark. But I'm glad she's just passed me and we're about 30 seconds away, because I would imagine the slight consternation that a lone female driving into such a place may cause. I think there's also a snack bar there now, so it's probably alright during the day. In fact, it's probably alright during the night as well. Don't tell her I forgot that. See, she's blissfully unaware. She's actually going to give me pelters for this. I'm going to edit this, and the first time she sees it will be when I put it up on the YouTube. There's no snack bar too here. Oh dear. Anyway, that's us. Safe and sound. Right, thanks for bearing with me today. The whole point, have a look out. 17th and 25th of May. We'll be starting at the Maggie Centre in Edinburgh, which is at the Western General Infirmary, 5 miles up to the Union Canal, and then along the Union Canal to Linlithgow. The next again week we'll go from Linlithgow to the Seagull Trust Cruises in Falkirk, and from there we'll come off and more or less head up Stirling Road to the Maggie Centre, Forth Valley.